Actually, no. Let's go here. Let's go here. Since we're here already.
Stroud one was being used.
Now, I'm going to preface this clip
not what you guys
by saying,
being used.
This is who you're about to hear is obviously Pat McAfee. He does the podcast, the Pat McAfee Show. But the other voice that you're going to hear is Brandon Alley, who is the co-founder of the actual S2 test, the S2 cognitive test that we spoke on last week. And we gave all the details about what went into it and things of that nature. This clip was very significant, and what you were suggesting earlier was you thought that my stance had changed on CJ because last week it wasn't that good based on this nigga being in the 18th percentile or testing 18%. And it wasn't. It wasn't at all. But after I heard this clip, I understand that this nigga is talking about CJ Stroud for sure. But just take a listen. It's 2 minutes.
Was being used against them. And I know that is not what you guys wanted at all. Where do the leaks come from, you think? Are the leaks accurate? And what should we take from that particular leak?
Yeah, so I will say from the outset here that, the day that happened, that those leaks happened, my phone was blowing up from general managers and our attorney. And so we can't speak on specifics. What I will say is the list of scores that I have seen, 2 of those scores are not accurate. They're not accurate at all. And some of the reason could be for narrative purposes. The other reason is that they don't have context. So somebody could have gotten a list of very early scores. One of the athletes on that particular list I know had a difficult time making his way to the All-Star game. Things were delayed. He was in high demand. He was hungry, tired. It was 11 p.m., didn't want to do what he was frustrated. We administered the test because we're asked to. We knew at that point in time, hey, we'll get you again. We'll get you at your pro day, your 30 visit. We did that, and his score is significantly higher than what is being reported in the media.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that it was CJ Stroud.
You're not saying.
Just that for context purposes, the scores that were leaked, there are a couple of them that are inaccurate, and there needs to be context behind that.
Okay, which we appreciate that piece of information because you're very new to the world. I think what the Cowboys and Saints were doing way back in the day is obviously smart.
Yeah.
Let's keep this exclusive. Let's keep it in-house. The fact that it's kind of getting more open there, I think there's a lot of owners and a lot of GMs that are very happy about this. And as we continue to learn about your test here, I think it's better for all parties. So we got to remember whenever shit gets leaked, there's a reason.
I think that out of those 2 players, the 2 athletes that he was referencing in that clip, I think CJ Stroud was one of them. I don't know who the other guy is. I really simply don't give a fuck. Because that's the most significant name in my opinion. Now, obviously, if Bryce Young didn't test in test in 98, obviously that's going to change a little bit, but it's really not going to change much. Not as much as CJ's decline has been affected by this 18% score that was leaked last week. So that to me was very interesting. That clip as a whole to me was very interesting. It's strange, bro, because it's like sometimes there's certain players that you just can feel like a certain sabotage occurring to their career. And I don't know who CJ pissed off.
Yeah.
I don't know, who he rubbed the wrong way. But that was cap. In my opinion, now, Brandon Alley didn't come out and directly say that was cap, but it was being suggested that CJ Stroud was one of those athletes that nobody had context around. So that whole thing was cap. And then the whole Manning shenanigans as well, I think we may have brought this up, or I may have brought this up last week as well. Allegedly, that was cap too. With him, getting the invite, him accepting it, and then never showing up without any word or whatever may have you. Actually, I don't even know if we spoke about that on air.
I don't think we spoke about it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't think we spoke about that on air. I think that was after we got finished recording. But that was another report that came out that CJ Stroud, when he was in high school or whatever, got invited to the Manning Academy, accepted the invitation, and then just simply never showed up. No call, no nothing,
See,
whatever.
That shouldn't even fucking matter if he was in high school. Like,
I agree.
How does that affect what he's done up until thus far and him getting drafted?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, but I mean, we know how gate-kept football is, specifically the quarterback position.
That shit really just pisses me off because I hate to make it a fucking this certain type of thing, but it's what it is.
Yeah,
because no other quarterback would have gotten treated that way.
Yeah,
of another skin color. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Yeah. They wouldn't have done Will Levis like that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have done Stetson Bennett like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just bullshit. Like, and I like based off of that video, I personally don't think that changes my stance on Bryce Young and who I think we should draft.
Oh yeah, me either.
I think that is completely unfair to CJ Stroud and the projection of his career.
Yeah.
Because now, like we talked about it earlier, like he went from possibly being a toss up between the number 1 pick
and number 2.
Yeah. So now he's not even like top 5, top 7.
Yeah.
Based off of that.
So you taking money and food off this nigga table.
Yeah, for no fucking reason.
Yeah. That shit is not cool to me.
Yeah. That's what really.
But we know how this shit goes. So like, you know, it could be a situation where Atlanta is doing this shit intentionally because they want him at 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's a very, very dirty business. And at the end of the day, it is a business. We understand how this shit goes. But I will say the whole Manning Academy thing, that was all speculation when it released. It was being said in fact, but it was speculation. And now it has actually been debunked that it did not go that way. There's been context added. So that situation didn't occur. So those are 2 main lies, because we have to call it what it is. Yeah. 2 huge lies that could potentially affect this young man's livelihood, which is bullshit.
Yeah,
it really is.
And like, I don't even want to sit up here like, because we don't have a big following base, but we have a platform.
Absolutely.
And so for me to sit up here and try to like disregard it or degrade the fact that this is a big deal when it actually is. And then we know the reason that it is a big deal. Yeah. We know the reason that it came out that just the lies have been spewed that he tested so low on the cognitive test that he didn't show up to the Manning's training camp with no word, just no call, no show.
Yeah.
And all of it being bullshit, and we know the reason why. Like, it's just, to me, that's just bullshit. No matter if he was my quarterback or not, like, nobody's career, nobody's money, like, nobody's livelihood, none of that should be fucked with based off of lies.
Yeah.
And so that's just complete bullshit. I do feel bad for him. Even like I said, even if I still feel like Bryce is the number 1 pick, but he shouldn't be getting treated the way he is.
Yeah.
Like, so
I agree. And I'm glad that you feel me? I'm glad that you expressed that sentiment. I really am, because I totally agree with you 100%. What he's enduring is bullshit.
Yeah.
And again, it goes to a larger issue within the NFL, specifically at the quarterback position, that, you know, has to be addressed. Not just at quarterback, but, you know, with the amount of coaches, guys in front office, it's an issue that has to be addressed. It is. Yeah. And it's a race issue at the end of the day. Now, I've never been one to hold my tongue, ever.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've tried to do a better job at being more sensitive towards understanding that we do have a platform and we do have a following, you know, and I understand that everybody that listens to us and supports us and loves what we do does not look like us. But at the same time, when bullshit like this occurs, and I feel it is because of a specific reason, and that specific reason is skin color, I'm not going to sit back. And I'm glad that you, like I said, I'm glad that you let that shit off, because them niggas know they going to get it from me.
Yeah, you got to call it for what it is.
Got to call it for what it is. You have to call it for what it is, and that shit is bullshit. That shit is bullshit. But, again, we're 24 hours away. I'm ecstatic. And I really want our fan base to be prepared for anything to happen.
Yeah.
We are champion. FPFO, JJ has finally got on the bandwagon. FPFO is championing Bryce Young. We want Bryce Young. At this point in the process, we want Bryce Young. I'm not going to be mad about CJ. I'm not going to be mad about Will. But I will say I want Bryce at this point in the process. I've done my due diligence. I've done my research. I've done the film study. You know, I watched the fucking pivot interview. I just see everything that there is to see damn near on this young guy. And I do believe in between the ears, he has everything that it takes. But everything else from a body size perspective gives me cause to pause. But that's neither here nor there. I still want Bryce Young at this point in the process. And I think he's going to give us the best chance to become champions. I really do.